Floating in the twilight waters of the world's tropical and subtropical oceans, the glass octopus remains one of nature's most elusive spectacles, inhabiting the mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones, depths, where sunlight is faint or non-existent. This rare cephalopod achieves near-total transparency. Its gelatinous body contains little pigment, allowing light to pass through with minimal scattering. The result is a creature that appears nearly invisible in its native environment, a spectral presence in the deep. Only a few internal structures are opaque: the optic nerves, digestive gland, and eyes. These vital organs resist full transparency due to their biological composition, forcing the glass octopus to evolve secondary adaptations. One such adaptation is its distinctive eye shape. Unlike the round eyes typical of most octopuses, this species' eyes are elongated and cylindrical when viewed from the side. This shape minimizes the vertical shadow cast in downwelling light, making the animal harder to detect from below, a critical advantage in predator-rich waters. The reproductive strategy of the glass octopus adds to its biological intrigue. Females are ovoviviparous, brooding hundreds of eggs inside their mantle cavity. Once the pair larvae hatch, the mother dies, an example of simulparous reproduction. During development, these young octopuses exhibit dietary shifts, with early-stage paralarvae possessing stronger beaks for consuming tougher prey in deeper habitats. As they grow and ascend, their beaks soften, matching their new dietary needs. Despite its ghost-like appearance, the glass octopus plays a key role in its ecosystem. It serves as prey for deep-diving predators such as the northern bottlenose whale. Its conservation status is currently listed as least concern, yet its deep-sea habitat renders population studies challenging. The glass octopus remains a striking example of physiological transparency and evolutionary precision in one of Earth's most remote environments. Suspended in the inky black waters of the deep ocean, the barrel-eye fish is a marvel of evolutionary adaptation. Found at depths of up to 800 meters, this small, motionless predator possesses one of the most bizarre and fascinating anatomical features in the animal kingdom: a transparent, fluid-filled dome covering the top of its head. Inside this dome sit two large tubular eyes, visible through the clear tissue and capable of extraordinary feats. Early research misunderstood the function of these eyes. Because preserved specimens often appeared with eyes fixed in an upward position, scientists initially believed the barrel eye could only look above, useful for spotting prey silhouettes against faint surface light. But this created a paradox. How could it see what was in front of its mouth to feed? In 2009, researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute resolved the mystery. Using remotely operated vehicles, they observed live barrel-eye fish in their natural environment and made a stunning discovery. The fish's eyes can rotate forward. This rotation allows it to both track prey above and then shift its gaze forward as it approaches to strike. It is the only known vertebrate to have internally housed eyes that pivot inside a transparent shield. The design offers another advantage: protection from stinging tentacles of siphonophores, one of its primary food sources. The barrel-eye fish completes its stealth strategy with large, flat pectoral fins, enabling it to remain perfectly still in the water. This stability aids its ambush technique, allowing precise, low-energy movement when needed. Its entire morphology is built for minimal detection and efficient capture in a low-light world. Together, its transparent head, rotatable eyes, and motionless hunting style exemplify how invisibility and optical innovation work in tandem, producing a ghost-like predator, perfectly suited for the deep ocean's visual void. Drifting silently through the open oceans, salps are barrel-shaped, gelatinous creatures whose bodies are composed of up to 95% water. Their transparency is not a passive trait, but a precise adaptation to an environment with few hiding places. Lacking pigments and internal structures that scatter light, salps appear nearly invisible as they glide through the photic zone, avoiding detection by predators and prey alike. Salps propel themselves by contracting muscular bands encircling their bodies, pushing water through in a remarkably efficient jet propulsion system. Unlike jellyfish, with which they are often confused, salps are tunicates, more closely related to vertebrates, including humans, than to most invertebrates. Their movement is smooth, rhythmic, and graceful, allowing them to traverse long distances with minimal energy expenditure. Their reproductive cycle is equally extraordinary. Salps alternate between solitary and colonial life stages. A single individual, known as an oozoid, reproduces asexually by budding, producing a chain of clones called blastozoids. These chains remain connected, forming free-floating colonies that pulse through the water as a synchronized unit. Each blastozoid eventually develops both male and female organs, reproducing sexually to create the next generation of solitary oozoids. This dual-phase life cycle enables explosive population growth under the right conditions. Salps play a critical ecological role. During phytoplankton blooms, they feed voraciously, filtering massive volumes of seawater. This grazing not only regulates surface ecosystems, but also drives a powerful carbon sequestration mechanism. Their waste pellets and bodies sink rapidly to the ocean floor, transporting carbon away from the atmosphere into the deep sea. In this way, these near-invisible animals help stabilize Earth's climate. Salps demonstrate that invisibility in the ocean is not just about escaping predation. It can also empower a species to shape global biogeochemical cycles while remaining nearly unseen by the human eye. In the freezing waters of the Southern Ocean, surrounding Antarctica, lives a family of fish that redefines the boundaries of vertebrate physiology, the crocodile icefish. These animals are the only known vertebrates to lack hemoglobin, the iron-rich protein that transports oxygen and gives blood its red color. As a result, their blood is completely transparent, and their gills appear ghostly white, a striking case of invisibility from within. This rare trait is not a visual camouflage, but an evolutionary byproduct, enabled by the unique environmental conditions of their habitat. Antarctic waters are among the coldest and most oxygen-rich on Earth, allowing dissolved oxygen to enter the bloodstream directly through plasma. This made hemoglobin, a molecule vital to nearly all other vertebrates, dispensable for survival in these conditions. But the loss of hemoglobin was not without cost. Because plasma carries oxygen far less efficiently, icefish evolved a suite of profound compensations. Their hearts are significantly larger than those of similar-sized red-blooded fish. They have up to 4 times the blood volume, and their capillaries and vessels are wider, facilitating high-volume, low-resistance circulation. These adaptations are energetically expensive, but essential to maintaining function in hemoglobin's absence. Their skin, free of scales, may also contribute to oxygen absorption directly from the environment. On the molecular level, their genome reveals near-complete deletion of hemoglobin genes, possibly a response to the scarcity of iron in Antarctic waters. By shedding the need for this iron-intensive protein, icefish may have gained a resource-saving advantage in their ecosystem. The crocodile icefish illustrates evolution's power to exploit even extreme niches. Its internal transparency is not for visual disguise, but a physiological necessity made possible by a narrow window of environmental opportunity, locked in place by deep structural changes and massive biological trade-offs. Perched quietly on the undersides of leaves in the rainforests of Central and South America, the glass frog offers one of the most visually striking examples of terrestrial transparency. While its back is typically opaque green, blending well with foliage, the ventral surface of its body is translucent. Through this belly, observers can clearly see the frog's internal organs, its beating heart, liver, and digestive tract, all softly visible through its clear skin. This adaptation is not simply aesthetic, it plays a critical role in concealment. By allowing light to pass through their legs and underside, glass frogs reduce their visible edge contrast when viewed from below. This technique, known as edge diffusion, blurs their outline against the dappled light of the rainforest canopy, making them much harder for predators to detect. Even more remarkable is the discovery of their ability to actively enhance this transparency while sleeping. Researchers have found that glass frogs remove nearly 89% of their red blood cells from circulation during rest, concentrating them within the liver. The liver itself is shielded by a layer of reflective guanine crystals, helping to obscure this concentration of red coloration. By removing blood cells from the limbs and peripheral tissues, the frog increases its transparency by 2 to 3 times, an active, reversible adaptation to reduce visual detection. This extraordinary physiological feat poses a medical paradox. In most vertebrates, such dense aggregation of red blood cells would result in dangerous clotting. Yet glass frogs avoid this outcome entirely. The underlying mechanism is unknown, but it suggests a powerful natural anticoagulant system. For biologists and medical researchers alike, the glass frog is more than a camouflage expert. It is a living model of physiological innovation, pointing toward future breakthroughs in blood, clot prevention and cardiovascular treatment in humans. In the forests of Central and South America, the glass-winged butterfly glides almost unseen, its wings appearing more like panes of glass than living tissue. Unlike most butterflies, whose wings are densely layered with pigmented scales, Greta Oto's wings are largely transparent, an adaptation that relies not just on material absence, but on microscopic engineering. This extraordinary transparency is achieved through a combination of structural simplification and nanoscale innovation. First, the wings are sparsely covered with hair-like scales, eliminating the dense pigmentation found in other species. More importantly, the surface of the wing is lined with randomly sized and irregularly spaced nanopillars composed of wax. This disordered array prevents light from coherently reflecting or scattering, allowing over 98% of visible light to pass straight through the wing without producing glare. The result is a butterfly that becomes nearly invisible when in flight, its wing transparency functioning as a form of defensive camouflage against predators. This invisibility is dynamic. The butterfly's body and wing edges remain visible, but the transparent panels erase most of the silhouette, disrupting its outline and motion. Despite their delicate appearance, glass-winged butterflies are remarkably strong. They can carry up to 40 times their own body weight and are capable of long-distance migrations. This balance between strength and invisibility reveals the efficiency of their design. Greta Oto stands as a living example of how nanoscale structures, random, yet precisely functional, can create optical effects that appear magical, but are rooted in physical principles, refined through natural selection. Deep in the rainforests of Madagascar, the leaf-tailed gecko has mastered the art of vanishing in plain sight. Belonging to the genus Uroplatus, these nocturnal reptiles rely on extreme mimesis, mimicking dead leaves, moss, and tree bark with uncanny precision. Their entire morphology is tuned for deception: flattened bodies, cryptic coloration, and elaborate tails that resemble decaying foliage, complete with vein-like patterns and jagged edges. One of their most effective features is a dermal fringe, skin flaps that run along the gecko's body and head. When the gecko presses itself against a tree during daylight hours, these flaps eliminate shadows by smoothing the transition between body and bark. Combined with mottled brown and gray coloration, this adaptation allows the gecko to visually melt into its surroundings. The deception is not purely passive. Leaf-tailed geckos actively orient their bodies to align with bark textures and patterns. Their stillness during daylight roosting completes the illusion. This level of camouflage is a response to intense predation pressure from birds, snakes, and other forest hunters. If discovered, some species employ a dramatic secondary defense. The satanic leaf-tailed gecko, Uroplatus fantasticus, for example, opens its mouth wide to reveal a vivid, orange-red interior and emits a loud hiss, a sudden, startling display meant to shock predators and gain precious seconds for escape. The leaf-tailed gecko exemplifies how physical form and behavior can be sculpted by evolutionary forces into an almost perfect visual disguise, designed for survival in one of Earth's most competitive ecosystems. In the tropical forests of Asia, the deadleaf butterfly, Calima inachus, executes one of the most convincing visual illusions in the animal kingdom. When its wings are closed, it becomes nearly indistinguishable from a dry, fallen leaf, complete with a central vein, jagged edges, mottled coloring, and even what appear to be fungal spots or decay. This butterfly's wings tell a dual story. The upper surfaces are vibrant, with bold flashes of blue, orange, and black, designed for mate attraction and in-flight signaling. But once it lands and folds its wings, the transformation is immediate and dramatic. The cryptic underside mimics a decaying leaf, so precisely that it can vanish into surrounding leaf litter or foliage within moments of landing. This deception is enhanced by the butterfly's behavior. It often performs a rapid, erratic flight before suddenly dropping into the undergrowth, where it closes its wings and remains motionless, rendering the illusion complete. Predators searching for live prey are easily fooled by this leaf-like stillness. The species also exhibits seasonal polyphonism, meaning individuals develop different forms depending on environmental conditions. In dry seasons, the butterflies emerge with paler, more brittle-looking patterns that mimic sun-dried leaves. In wetter months, the coloration shifts darker to match soggy, decomposing foliage. This flexibility allows the deadleaf butterfly to maintain effective camouflage across a range of seasonal backgrounds. Kalima Inachus illustrates how natural selection can sculpt both anatomy and behavior into a single, seamless illusion, one that fools the eye and secures survival. Hidden in plain sight across the woodlands of North America, the eastern screech owl, Megascops aceo, is a master of visual deception. By day, this small nocturnal predator roosts in tree cavities or clings to trunks, relying on its intricately patterned plumage to disappear against bark. The feathers are marked with fine streaks, bars, and mottling that mimic the texture and coloration of tree bark with striking accuracy. Two distinct color morphs, gray and rufous, exist within the species. These are not indicators of age or sex, but are genetically determined polymorphisms. The gray morph blends seamlessly with deciduous trees such as oaks and maples, while the rufous morph offers superior camouflage among reddish-barked trees and autumn foliage. The distribution of these morphs varies by region, aligning closely with dominant local vegetation, suggesting natural selection maintains this variation to optimize concealment. When threatened during daylight hours, the owl employs a defensive posture that enhances its disguise. It elongates its body, tightens its plumage, and narrows its eyes to mere slits, mimicking the shape and texture of a broken branch or tree stub. This behavioral adaptation complements its physical camouflage, making it exceptionally difficult for predators and even experienced birdwatchers to detect. Despite its small size, the eastern screech owl is a skilled hunter, feeding on insects, rodents, and small birds. Its camouflage is not just for protection. It allows it to ambush prey without being seen. This owl exemplifies how visual deception, genetic diversity, and behavioral flexibility combine to achieve near-perfect invisibility in a terrestrial environment. Native to Australia and nearby regions, the wraparound spider, Dolophones, has evolved one of the most specialized camouflage adaptations in the arachnid world. Its defining feature is a concave, flattened abdomen that allows it to seamlessly conform to the surface of twigs and branches during daylight hours. This unique anatomical structure enables the spider to physically hug the curvature of its resting surface, effectively merging with the substrate. The spider's coloration adds to the illusion. Mottled shades of brown, gray, and tan match the bark it clings to, while its legs tuck tightly against its body, eliminating visible outlines. The combination of coloration, body shape, and posture renders it nearly indistinguishable from a knot, bud, or irregularity on the branch. Even trained observers often overlook it unless it moves. This daytime disguise is purely defensive. The wraparound spider is nocturnal, and at night it abandons its disguise to spin classic orb webs to capture flying insect prey. At dawn, it consumes its web, a common behavior among orb weavers, and returns to its branch, flattening itself into place once more. This species demonstrates how a single morphological innovation, in this case, a concave abdomen, can serve as the foundation for a powerful mimicry strategy. Paired with appropriate behavior and habitat selection, it achieves a level of invisibility so complete that it likely avoids both predators and human detection. The wraparound spider is a vivid example of how natural selection can sculpt an organism to vanish into its environment, relying on nothing more than anatomy and positioning to escape notice.